All right, so let's set the stage. I work as a security guard at this big box store that sells everything except for groceries. Oh, but wait, we do have a deli counter. Now, it's not like a regular deli where you get those fancy workers who slice up your meat and cheese for you. No, we've got these touchscreen menus where you punch in what you want and a machine slices it for you. Yeah, it's not as fun, but it's reliable, so most days it's chill. But this particular Wednesday, it was a madhouse. The line is going out the door and I'm standing there thinking to myself, man, I wish I was a normal customer right now. Little did I know that my wish was about to come true, because in walks this woman and she is carrying herself like she owns the place. Tall, tan, blonde hair in pigtails, lots of makeup, tight dress, high heels. You know the type. This was a real-life Karen, and she was looking pissed. As she approaches the counter, she looks at the menu, which has a picture of a worker wearing a hairnet, slicing up meat, and says out loud, "Where's the person who slices the meat? I want to talk to him." At this point, the line is stretching all the way back to the frozen food aisle, so I put my hand on her shoulder and say, "Ma'am, you'll have to wait your turn. You gotta get a ticket." She looks at me up and down, disgusted, and replies, "Who are you? Do you work here?" "No, ma'am," I tell her, "but I am a customer, so I have to get my food too." She scoffs and turns to leave, but I stand my ground and tell her, "Hey, listen, why don't you go back and get a ticket? Then you can get whatever you want, okay?" At this point, the line is getting pretty angry, so I'm hoping she gets the hint and leaves. But nope, she comes back and starts yelling at me. "Do you know who I am? Get out of my face. I demand to speak to the manager." Okay, so I'm not one to back down from an argument, but I see how much the line is suffering because of this lady, so I decide to let it go. I apologize and step aside so she can continue to the counter and start typing in her order. Of course, she doesn't have a clue how to use the thing and ends up cancelling her order, which only pisses her off more. She looks around frantically and asks someone near the front of the line, "Do you know how to use this thing? Hurry up, please." The woman gives her a look like she wants to slap her and goes back to looking at her phone. At this point, I'm getting nervous that this Karen is gonna blow, so I decide to go help her. "Let me show you how to use it," I say. "Just press the button here, and then it'll bring up the menu. Then you can select what you want." As I'm talking to her, I notice that she's checking out the salami and the pepperonis, so I throw a few samples on the plate for her and try to be nice. "Here, try this. It's pretty good." Well, she looks at the food like it's poison and says, "I don't want your samples. I want to speak to the manager. Where is he?" Before I know it, she's got a crowd of people around us staring and waiting for me to respond. I'm not sure what to say, so I just tell her, "He's right there in the back. Hold on." I walk to the back of the store and find my boss restocking paper towels. He looks exhausted and smells like stale coffee, so I don't bother to hide anything. I just tell him, "This Karen wants to talk to you." My boss puts the paper towels down and follows me back to the deli. The whole time I'm worried that she's going to lash out or something, but she actually looks genuinely surprised to see my boss. "Oh, so you're the manager. Perfect. Now listen, I don't have time to waste. I need you to give me the best salami that you have. Not that stuff you put on the samples. Something special." My boss looks confused and replies, "Ma'am, we only sell the stuff that's behind the glass. You can't have anything special." "Well, then just wrap up whatever is fresh and delicious behind that glass," she says. And then she turns to me and adds, "You're fired." I'm shocked. I can't believe she thinks she can just get me fired for trying to help her. I turn back to my boss and say, "She wants me fired. She's being really rude." My boss shakes his head and tells me, "Let it go. Just give her what she wants and call it a day." He looks back at Karen and says, "Sure, I can wrap up some salami for you. But remember, it's pre-sliced by the machine. There's nothing special about it." She pays for the salami and struts out of the store without another word. My boss lets out a huge sigh and says, "Sorry about that. Sometimes customers can be rough." It's fine, boss, I reply. I'm just glad that she's gone. As I watch her drive off in her Mercedes, I can't help but feel a sense of satisfaction, knowing that she got her special salami. Maybe she'll learn that being rude to service workers isn't cool. Who knows? But either way, it was an interesting shift.